As far as Marvel characters go, there are few more controversial than Frank Castle, also known as the Punisher, a man whose motivations are born from tragedy and shaped by violence. He's the Marvel Universe's most pure representation of vengeance. And today, we'll look at the Punisher's incredible journey from the pages of Spider-Man to the cultural icon status that he enjoys today. It's been a long road for Frank Castle, but he's proven he's here to stay. Welcome to A Marvelous Life. I'm Nashology, and today we are diving into the history of the Punisher, one of the most popular anti-heroes in entertainment history. Capturing the imaginations of comic book and movie enjoyers alike, the Punisher stands as a glowing example of the complex interplay between heroism and villainy. What category he falls under is subjective, to say the least. But arguably, the most important aspect of Frank's character is his undying devotion to achieve justice by any means necessary. He's waging a one-man war against crime, and he'll blur the lines of morality to achieve his goal. From the birth of the Punisher to the blood-stained legacy he has left behind within the Marvel Universe, this is the origin of the Punisher. Clad in all black and with a distinctive skull emblem emblazoned on his chest, the Punisher was a unique character for the Marvel Universe. A hitman with a twisted sense of morality, Frank Castle targeted any individual he deemed guilty. First appearing in 1974's The Amazing Spider-Man number 129, Frank was originally introduced to the Marvel Universe as an antagonist to the web crawler. In this introduction, the Punisher is hired by another new villain known as the Jackal, someone who would become a massive villain in the Spider-Man universe. The Punisher is depicted as a skilled marksman with a strong propensity for violence, but he's unique among Spider-Man's growing cadre of villains. He only pursues criminals, and he does so with a twisted, delusional sense of justice. Essentially, he's presented as the antithesis of Spider-Man, showcasing a stark contrast in his methodology and approach. Throughout the first issue, the Punisher is on a mission to kill Spider-Man, as he believes he's a murderer responsible for killing Norman Osborn. This results in a number of confrontations between the two individuals. Eventually, it becomes evident that the Jackal used Frank as a pawn in his scheme to kill Spider-Man, and he's actually not the murderer he was made out to be, ending the initial conflict between the two. The introduction of the Punisher concludes with Frank setting out on a path of self-reflection, with the realization that his quest for vengeance must always build on an unshakable foundation: the truth. The first issue is incredibly important for the development of Frank's character, as his departure is marked by a strong determination to only punish those who truly deserve it. An ethos he tries to live by even 50 years later. The Amazing Spider-Man number 129 is significant, not just for introducing the Punisher, but also for presenting him as a nuanced character capable of growth and change. He's a misguided force for justice. He knows he's crossing the lines, and he knows he's a bad guy, but he doesn't care. This is just the way it has to be in order to make the world a safer place. And this twisted mentality is a theme that would be explored in the next 50 years of storytelling. This issue laid the groundwork for an incredible evolution from a villainous role to a complex anti-hero, and the Marvel Universe has never been the same since. Since his 1974 introduction, the Punisher has evolved into one of Marvel's most compelling characters, a symbol for unchecked violence and retributive justice. In a universe populated by gods, monsters, and superhumans, the Punisher remains starkly human, a man driven by pain, whose only superpower is his unwavering resolve. His backstory, a former Marine whose family was murdered by the mob for witnessing a killing in New York City's Central Park, laid the groundwork for a character driven by a deeply personal vendetta. And in 1986, Frank Castle was given his first solo limited series. And from this point on, the Punisher has enjoyed a significant time in the spotlight, essentially starring in his own headlining book consistently over the next 30 years. But why has the Punisher, a character so deeply entwined with themes of violence and vengeance, resonate so profoundly with fans across generations? Well, it's because Frank Castle represents the embodiment of the anti-hero archetype, challenging traditional notions of what it means to be a hero in a world where the lines between right and wrong are often indistinct. Comic readers enjoy diving into content that is antithetical to their own day-to-day life, allowing them to experience worldviews that they'll never experience themselves. Through his relentless pursuit of justice, the Punisher invites readers to explore the darker corners of the human psyche, to question the efficacy of the law, and to confront the uncomfortable reality that sometimes the ends might justify the means. Or at least that's what Frank Castle would want you to believe. Initially, the Punisher's extreme methods drew mixed reactions. However, as his character developed, fans began to gravitate towards his relentless pursuit of justice and his unwavering moral code. The Punisher became a symbol for those disillusioned with the justice system's failures, embodying the appeal of the anti-hero who operates outside the law. And as expected, Frank Castle has enjoyed quite the cinematic legacy over the years, with each film adaptation contributing to the character's mythos and bringing his relentless war on crime to a wider audience.
The Punisher's popularity has been a growing force in the Marvel Universe. He's a mirror, reflecting society's greatest fears and frustrations. His characterization is about taking the powerlessness that you feel and channeling it into a vehicle for change, by any means necessary. This is what draws people to characters like Frank Castle or games like Grand Theft Auto. You get a chance to peek into a world through the lens of a flawed moral compass, and you get to safely walk the fine line between heroism and villainy. And this fascination with violence is exactly why the Punisher has exploded into mainstream popularity, and he's likely not going away anytime soon.
For those of you who want to read the Punisher's best stories, I have everything you need right here. Punisher Year 1, released in 1994, is an absolute must-read for any Punisher fan. In this story, we look at the immediate aftermath of the most crucial moment in Frank's life, the murder of his entire family. This story looks at Frank's actual transformation into the Punisher, providing crucial context for his motivations and allowing us an inside look into the genesis of his war on crime. This is a Punisher story you absolutely do not want to miss. Next up, we have the very popular Garth Ennis run from the year 2000. This is the story that revitalized Frank Castle for the modern era. It's gritty, unapologetically violent, and darkly comedic. It's an important story that paints the Punisher as an absolute force in the Marvel Universe. And yes, much of what you see in the Punisher films is inspired from this story. Finally, we have probably the most popular Punisher story of all time, Punisher Max by Garth Ennis. This comic book is not for kids. It's gory, ultra-violent, and has plenty of nudity. Imagine a Punisher story that isn't restricted by censorship, raw storytelling, bloody action, and anything you would want from a rated R Punisher. This is one story that Disney wouldn't dare touch. From his first appearance as a villain in The Amazing Spider-Man to becoming one of Marvel's most complex anti-heroes, the Punisher's journey is a testament to the character's depth and the storytelling possibilities within the comic book medium. He's a man who has experienced more trauma and heartbreak than most and is willing to dedicate the rest of his life to a relentless pursuit of justice. He's a character who has sparked more controversy than just about any other Marvel character and has single-handedly sparked conversation about morality, justice, and human capacity for both vengeance and redemption. He's a global icon for better or worse, and it's likely that his legendary status will be forever cemented in comic book history. Long live the Punisher.
Thanks for joining me on this journey into one of Marvel's longest-lasting anti-heroes. Feel free to hit that like button and subscribe for more Marvel content. Till next time, I'm Nashology, and this is A Marvelous Life.